Hey, everybody. Listen, welcome into the building. It's late. Yeah, the train pulled out late tonight, but we pulled out. And we only going to do 2 stories. We're going to be in and out, okay? We doing an express train. Lakeisha, I'm glad you made it. Tay, I see you out there. Hi, everybody. Listen, if you out there, do the diva a favor. Hit the like button. Listen, the title is real simple tonight. It's called Strange Times. Strange Times. It's strange times when a man is on trial and for 17 days straight, we've been talking about his sex life. But yet he's on trial for RICO. Strange times. Now, y'all beat us over the head and y'all said Cassie was groomed. And Cassie deserves justice. Can y'all tell me what's going on with this Jane? She said from the door, he was plying her with the substances. From the door, they was watching the explicit movies together. And from the door, he had a conversation with her about being with strangers and him watching. And she says, okay. She go to take a tinkle in the bathroom and she come out. He said, let's go. It's about to go down. She's like, wait, hold on. What happened? And she said, once she opened Pandora's box, but did I not tell y'all that? When you open Pandora's box, you can't close it back because that's how the dark world works. She said, once she opened Pandora's box, that was it. Next thing you know, just like Cassie said, darn near 7 days a week, she was doing, the stuff. Y'all got to tell me what the feeling is here. Am I supposed to feel sorry that a grown woman said that she had to do this because she needed her rent paid? Do y'all live in the street? Do y'all not have rent or either a mortgage? Are you about to do a freak off so that you can pay your rent or your mortgage? She's a single mom. Do you know how many single moms there are out there? I'm just trying to understand at what point do people have to take responsibility for their own lives? If I meet somebody, I don't care how charming they are, the minute they offer me a substance, is deuces, I'm out because that's not what I do. Let me toss that to the side for a minute. If I meet somebody and off the bat, all they want to do is watch these movies all day, that's not what I do. So that's okay. That's what you want to do. So deuces, I'm out. So I got 2 times where I would have went out. Yeah, Mo, she wild for this. But I wonder if her baby daddy kind of pressured her to do this. And then, if all of that didn't stop me, and I went ahead and did this one night, and after that, you keep telling me I got to do it over and over and over again, got as strangers violating my body, guess what? Deuces, I'm out. And she on the stand saying this. And I'm keep saying this to y'all. It's a circus because this is the best that the state of Southern District of New York got for us. We 17 days in, and we got a girlfriend that was with him out of her own mouth up until the day he got arrested. Up until the day he got arrested, you were still with this man. And let's be clear, he got it bad. He got it bad. Yes, he does. When you know you about to turn yourself in and they found all types of stuff in your hotel room, you got it bad. And that's why I'm telling you, if I was going to be his lawyer, I would have gave him a list of things that he had to do if he wanted me to represent him, or else he could have kept his money. I would have been like, to the day we're about to turn you in, You want to be in a real rehab, not a rehab for play. Where they're going to cater to you because you're a celebrity and go out and go ahead and still continue to give you what you want. No, I'm putting you in a real rehab. Do the Betty Ford clinics still exist? And if they exist, are they legit? Because I'm putting you in a rehab for real. And I hate to say this, but Mark, shame on you. Called your client to New York to turn himself in, and all of that nonsense is in his hotel room. The worst thing that happened today, though, is that judge had to tell Diddy to knock it off. Am I shocked, though? No. Because this whole thing is a full-blown circus. All of these witnesses, whether they was going to be Jane Doe or say their full name, they should not have to walk out the courtroom and be subjected to the media telling them all kind of stuff. When Breonna Banner walked out of there, they was telling her, they was just, if she didn't get beat up on the stand, she got beat up when she walked outside for them 2 minutes. Everybody should be coming out of secret doors. This is a high-profile case, and I'm going to need to get a Judge Iran to get his life together, respectfully. You got Diddy in the court doing all kind of justice to the jury. You got the prosecution, the Southern District of New York, that hasn't hit a home run yet with not one witness. Are these witnesses sober? I'm just checking. But the judge told Diddy, knock it off, or are you going to be in the overflow watching your own case go down? Stop playing. Sheila, I heard that a long time ago because they was pushing that when Whitney Houston died. They was pushing that. They was pushing around that Ray J was the one that gave the last package. That was what they were saying. They ain't what the D was saying, but that's what they were saying. But I heard it for a long time now. And allegedly, that is part of the issue that his own mother and sister have with him. But let me move forward. Child, when the people fall out with you, they fall out with you. So Trump and Elon Musk, they was road dogs. They had each other back. They was thick as thieves. And now they fell out. But you know what? Money changes things. Elon Musk and that Tesla, everybody who was anybody wanted them a Tesla. And during the COVID, the Teslas was on back order like with the rest of the cars, but they was on back order for real. And people was paying premium prices. They was paying way over the asking price to get themselves a Tesla. He hooked up with Trump. His stock went in the trash. The people was burning up Teslas on the street. They was trying to burn down the Tesla dealership. So Elon Musk lost a lot hanging with Trump. And now all these tariffs and this, that, and that. Elon Musk, he got 13. How many kids does he have? Because you know what's funny? Don't many people talk about that either, but that's another story for another day. He got a bunch of kids. I think he got more than Nick Cannon right now. So this Diddy thing, it happens on all levels. But like I said before, when it's packaged in a pretty bow, we ignore it. Elon Musk is out here leaving his seed everywhere, anywhere. He got kids for days. And some of the baby mamas he don't even talk to. So he need his money. And when he started looking at his bank account and all the stuff that Trump doing, he was like, no. Now he want to drop down talking about the real reason why those Epstein files are not coming out is because Trump is in them. Now, are we shocked? No, I'm not. You want to know why? Because they cover up what they want to cover up, and what they don't want to cover up, they won't cover up. And when the people, what is it going to say? When the people want to take you down, then you want to be the sacrificial lamb. Now, this you heard from the diva, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on this. They for real know some stuff they could probably get Diddy on for real. But instead, they playing in our face to make it seem like they trying to stop whatever it is he's doing. And they brought these RICO charges, which is far-fetched. For 17 days, all we learned about is his sex life. And the Wild King nights, hotel nights, freak offs. And everybody want to claim they was forced. And I told you before, and I'm going to say it again. They all were doing each other. They all were doing the substances. They all were sleeping around, allegedly. And all of them didn't use not one piece of protection. And that's why every time you turn around, somebody was pregnant. Somebody had a STD. And some of these people, unfortunately, they got hooked on the substances and they can't get off. Banner was on that stand and she was all over the place. But Elon Musk and Trump fell out. It's a hot mess. You want to know what else is a circus right now? The way the country is being ran. But what can we do? So what, so I shouldn't be shocked that this court case is a circus, because right now a whole full-blown circus is going on. Get your popcorn, your cotton candy, because it's a circus. Now listen, guys, y'all know what I need in the chat, because I'm about to bring the people in the building. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Okay, it's called Strange Times. The Diddy trial, day 17. Jane Doe testifies. We got Trump and Elon Musk feuds explodes. He said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. But when Donald Trump has a video out there talking about, I just grabbed them by the poom poom because that's what they like, we already know what's good. Let me say this as I bring, hold on one second. Hey, Felicia.
Hey.
Listen.
Hey.
Okay. Let me say this real quick. When you want to chase a dollar, you better talk to the daughters out there. When you want to chase a dollar and sell your soul to the devil for it, I gotta ask, what do you want us to do afterwards? What do you want from me? You talking about he said if I didn't do it, he said he wasn't going to pay my rent no more. Well, what boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever you know that y'all broke up and you still going to get the benefits that you was getting when y'all was together? Early on, he introduced you to this. And you said yes. What's the other one? Capricorn Clark. Was it her? She came to the interview and he was in his underwear. What did you think was going to happen from that point on? Day one. He interviewed you in his undergarments in a robe, and then later on he put on clothes.
That was Mia.
Oh, that was Mia. Thank you. I'm sorry. Mia. I'm confusing them now. So you get interviewed with a robe and some underwear on, and you thought it was going to get better from there. It don't make no sense. Little Rodney, same thing. He called me. He was in the shower in Nucket for a meeting. And you thought it was going to get better from there. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this day 17 of Diddy trial. Let me read this one because this was an interesting article. Kind of summarizes it, and I'll add some pieces to it. So why a former prosecutor thinks Diddy might walk free. Don't think they would convict. So Sean Diddy Combs' trial on sex crimes will likely wrap up before July 4th. Judge Aron said, despite explosive testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial, a former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York told People on May 28 the prosecutors have taken too long to present their case. And I think we all can agree with that. We're on day 17, and we're still talking about sex, drugs, and rap, okay, and hip hop, potentially swaying the jury towards acquitting the embattled music mogul. For weeks, Combs 55 has maintained an attentive and easygoing presence inside a Manhattan federal courtroom, occasionally shaking his head, fidgeting in his seat, or passing sticky notes to his attorneys. But on June 5th, Judge Aron threatened to kick Combs out of the court for allegedly flashing facial expressions at jurors between breaks in intense proceedings. Combs has also exchanged blown kisses and heart signs with his mother Janice, seated just feet away in the gallery. Combs is facing serious federal charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in P, that could send him to prison for life. But legal experts have questioned whether prosecutors are proving the charges in court. Despite 4 days of gripping testimony from ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who painted a harrowing picture of 11 years of alleged abuse and drug-filled freak-off parties during 4 days on the stand, beginning on Tuesday, May 13, former prosecutor Jennifer told the People exclusively that the case may be losing momentum. If the jury had to decide today, I don't think they would convict, Jennifer, now a criminal defense attorney, said on May 28. This is also because they don't have the benefit of all the rest of the evidence at this point. But to attain a conviction, the prosecution has to identify the co-conspirators and probably call them as witnesses, at least some of them. And I would have put them earlier and get some understanding of the scope of what this was, how it started, and why. Federal prosecutors allege Combs had a secretive criminal ring, cloaked by celebrity, manipulating power, sex, and fame in order to exploit women. According to court documents, he and his associates allegedly lured victims with promises of romance, only to trap them in a cycle of coercion and abuse. Ventura, who was 8.5 months pregnant at the time of her testimony, described being beaten, manipulated, and coerced into sex acts with P's, all while trying to build a career under Combs' watch. But Jennifer questioned if the government strategy could be backfiring. To prove racketeering, they need to show that this was a corrupt organization, okay? Listen, people, you hear what they saying? This ain't diva, but we've been trying to tell you that for a minute now. She said, right now they're leaning heavily on Cassie's testimony. I'm not going to say that's not relevant to establishing racketeering, but her testimony and those corroborating witnesses standing alone doesn't really push everything you need to establish to prove racketeering. It might, if we were in state court, it might prove domestic abuse and any number of other state court charges. But for racketeering, you obviously need to talk about a corrupt organization. Prosecutors also introduced texts between the pair that appeared to show her arranging the now infamous freak-offs. In one July 2013 exchange, the Me and You singer wrote, "Wish we could have freaked off before you left. My period is over." In another message, Combs wrote, "I want to freak off right now, LOL." To which Ventura responded, "LOL, me too. Well, I want to have fun with you." Those messages, said Jennifer, cut both ways. The prosecution is arguing coercion, and it can be psychological, not just physical. They are trying to prove Combs leveraged his status over her career, but the defense will say those tests show consent. It's complicated and all something that the jury is going to have to hash out. For the government to secure a conviction, prosecutors must prove not just sex trafficking, which holds a minimum of 15-year sentence, but that Combs operated a criminal enterprise using force, fraud, or coercion, the legal standard for racketeering cases. I would have brought out the co-conspirators earlier, Jennifer told People. In this kind of case, and I think the biggest thing they are still missing and still haven't proved is this legitimate music enterprise, also separately a RICO enterprise engaged in illegal activity. I think the hardest piece to prove, If there are others who helped arrange these parties or silence victims, jurors need to hear from them, and soon. Combs, meanwhile, has pleaded not guilty to the charges, and his lawyers have strongly denied the central allegations of the case: that he coerced at least two women into drug-filled marathons with male P's and used bodyguards and other employees as part of a criminal enterprise to orchestrate and conceal abuse. Two women have testified under pseudonyms, Mia and Jane, alleging Combs abused them. And Jennifer believes the prosecution still has time to turn the tide. A prosecutor won't indict a case unless they think they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt of all the necessary elements, she said, adding, so I certainly will go into this with the assumption that they believe they have the necessary proof. But she also offered a cautionary note. I like to try to resist the urge to put on too much evidence sometimes. And I wonder if that's where we are here. Like they're just doing too much with the Cassie Ventura testimony and the corroboration of that. And because it's been taking so long, it feels like we are getting it feels like when are they going to get to the other evidence? She explained, you are always so in the weeds on these cases. You know every twist and turn. You looked at it. You looked at the documents for ions. Sometimes it's just the human nature out of you think what you're saying and doing is convincing, but it isn't, because you know way more than everybody else knows, and you just like don't realize it's not coming across the way that you want. But she also added that some of the defense cross-examination tactics, particularly of Ventura and other witnesses, have also strayed off course. I'm thinking, why are they even asking that, she said. A woman identified in prosecutors' court filings at victim 3, the pseudonym used to protect her identity, is no longer expected to take the stands. Questions about her availability arose last month when prosecutors told the court that they had been unable to reach her attorney. Still, victim 3, who has been referred to in testimony by only the name Gina, has hovered over the case as Ventura and others have described Combs' overlapping romantic and sexual relationships. A woman identified by prosecutors as victim 5, who will be testifying and using her real name, is expected to also take the stand in coming weeks. And Combs may yet take the stand in his own defense. In the Hulu documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, his defense attorney, Mark, said, I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is very eager to tell his story. But that move could be risky, legal analyst and ex-federal prosecutor Naima testifying with subject Combs to cross-examination and make his words. Now, this is why I told you I don't think he should get on that stand, and make his words admissible in more than 60 pending civil suits. More broadly, she said she expects that Combs' defense will continue to argue his accusers are motivated by fame, money, or revenge, and challenge their credibility. As for whether jurors will ultimately convict the Bad Boy Records founder, Jennifer said the jury's patience may be running thin. In my opinion, it's too long. I think jurors have only a certain attention span. The media and others are asking, where is the evidence of all this other stuff? You know, the villagers are getting restless, and the jury is feeling that too. Whether Combs walks free or spends the rest of his life behind bars, one thing is certain. His federal trial has captured global attention with minute-by-minute media coverage. Ultimately, his fate rests in the hands of 12 jurors, 8 men and 4 women, tasked with delivering a verdict. Woo, that was a lot, and a lot went on today. Felicia, your thoughts?
All right. No, I'm here. Hey, everybody. I'm here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So day 17. Here we go with the message and the announcement. No, there was no names of any minors. No minors were brought into the court. Mm-hmm. We weren't told a minor coming up next week to testify. We're still waiting. So we had a couple of people up there today. So it's the usual stuff. It's the substances, it's the X, and it's the enforcement talk. So what we did have new today, though, was we got new names. So it ain't Janet and Frank Black. It's Bert and Ernie. Okay, that's where we at. We at Bert and Ernie. Did you hear me? We're in the Southern District of New York, and Jane Doe is testifying that she's Bert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's Ernie, or he's Ernie, she Bert, whatever it is. Very confusing, because you thought this was about racketeering and RICO and money laundering and transportation of people against their will. And it turns out it's about some rent money. And I know a lot of us got rent money discussions. It's about some rent money, some furniture. Yep, we need furniture because the house is empty. I want it to look like, I'm living a balanced life. And it was about a couple of trips uh, that they went on. Oh, and it was more continuation of betrayal amongst friends. Okay. So Jane got invited to a party by her friend who was engaging with Bert, Ernie, Bonnie, Clyde, Janet, Frank, whatever you want to call these people. And so she was invited. And she said while she was there, Mr. Combs kept giving her a little bit more attention than the rest, so much so that she went with him to go get the 2C. The 2C is the substance and stuff. And she only did it twice before in her whole life. She never did it before until then. And then she asked the bodyguard or One Stop or whoever that was it safe? Now, come on now, y'all. Come on now. God have mercy. It's just ridiculous. If you didn't hear it or read it for yourself, you would say, oh God, Felicia's up here making this stuff up. No, I am not. So she went and she got it and they brought it back. And then her friend was seeing him and somebody else. So they all see other people. They see each other and then they see other people. And then the friend decided to get married to this person and moved overseas. And so she thought this was she found Mr. Combs interesting. And so she decided to go out with him. And she fell in love with him. And he was very charming and very gracious and very nice to her. And she just wanted, they had, they enjoyed making love endlessly, 30 hours, 40 hours, 5 days, 6 weeks straight, whatever it was. And then he started to, go in the other direction of wanting to bring other people in. And she said, well, she wasn't really happy about all of that. She didn't really want to do that. But then he says something about the rent and, or, keeping the house. And so she thought, well, that might not be a good idea because she was considering doing OnlyFans. And that took a moment from the court. It was like, wow. I was like, wow. And she said, no, her friend had did a light version of OnlyFans and had made a nice piece of money. That's what she was considering doing. But she decided to stay. So, as Diva said, yeah, she was with him up until when the they came to get him. Who came to get him, Diva? The NYPD, the FBI. I don't remember who came to get him. She was somewhere in the vicinity. This wasn't the relationship that broke up because somebody got some morals or they got clean or they went to go get sober or they realized they wasn't Bert and they wasn't Ernie. This was somebody who, just like a lot of us know people, the people get picked up on the street, they get handcuffed, they get arrested, and the relationship is over or just on hold for now. Now, I just took 10 minutes of your life on a case that got something to do with RICO, with his money laundering and bribery and major UG movement and all of this other stuff. And I just told you about a crazy relationship between two people who are abusing substances and calling each other Bert and Ernie. There you have it. And we're supposed to continue all day tomorrow and into next week. So, according to what that prosecutor just wrote, people are losing their patience. I've lost mine. Okay, I've lost mine. I'm done. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's a circus. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I missed most of it today, so going to Sandy.
Okay, Sandy, your thoughts?
Well, I won't spend time recapping because Felicia did an excellent job of that. But I will say, when Jane came up, supposedly Jane was supposed to be the witness, according to some experts, that was going to finally put the nail in the coffin as it relates to the ex trafficking. Right. Needless to say, there was no nail, there was no coffin. All right. So while Jane is talking, and they went through all these hoops with the legal proceedings because with Mia, and in quick order, who she was got out there and all of that. So they did all these things in the court to try to reduce the risk of Jane being outed, which I still think is silly because in this day and time, it's just not going to happen. Okay.
And Sandy, and all the information they gave, the time frame in which they dated, and all of it, it's obvious who it is. But go ahead.
Yeah, you can't get there from here. By the time you get dates, events, who you were with, come on. So Jane, when she started testifying, when I was doing the live today, I'm telling you, I don't think she was a good 10 sentences in when I said, I know who Jane is. I know who Jane is. And then our social media was like, we know who Jane is. And I don't know if we could, or is it okay to say it or don't say it?
No, don't say it. Don't
okay.
Say it.
All right. So,
but everybody, I seen it in the chat. Everybody know who she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention the troll of all trolls made sure that we didn't have to guess about it.
That part.
The troll of all trolls posted Bert and Ernie in lingerie.
That part. That part.
And so when I was listening to it, and as far as she got in testimony, and I don't know why we got to have her all these days because it's not proving anything. But I'm sitting here listening to her testimony and also reading comments on X just to see what people are thinking about it. And it's amazing to me how some people, and it's not the majority, the overwhelming majority of the people in the comments, I would say are speaking about it in the way we're speaking about it here. But there were some people in the comments who was like, see, he's doing drugs with her. See, he's grooming her. And I'm like, we have got to stop conflating these narratives. This lady, he did not force drugs on her. Okay. As far as, and maybe I shouldn't use that word either. Okay. So as far as where she is in her testimony right now, there has not been anything that has happened that she has not consented to.
That part.
Including the freak offs. She complained, like Cassie at this point in her testimony, not that she was against the freak off, but dog, do we have to do so many? That was her complaint. Okay. And then she went on to just, talk about how she didn't really want to do them because she really just wanted to be with him. And this is the thing, and I'm just sticking with how far she got today in her testimony. To me, in my opinion, I'm married. If my husband, but even if I wasn't married, if you're with somebody.
Right.
If my husband came and asked me, Sandy, I want to do whatever. I'm not really into it, but I say yes because I want to make him happy. Right. And then I keep doing it, not because I really want to, but he's into it. I want to make him happy. That is not forced to me.
It ain't.
That is not forced to me, especially if you want to put a legal definition behind it and send somebody to prison. And it feels like sometimes in the comments, folks are like, well, he knew she was depressed and he knew she was, she had been struggling with some things. And, he knew she was a people pleaser and she had a rough childhood. And that's why she was saying yes. So therefore she should go to prison. I reject that. I reject that because I think it also makes it seem like we as women are just out here like walking victims without a brain. It may be immoral, and it may be he may have taken advantage of a situation if he knew that those things I just rattled off. But at the end of the day, you said yes. You said yes. He didn't at the point where she is in her testimony right now. He did not have her up against the wall. He did not have her in a chokehold. He did not say, if you don't do this, whatever. She actually said in her testimony, the prosecutor asked her, how did you feel after you engaged in that? She literally said, I felt exhilarated.
Her words.
Her words. She said, I felt exhilarated. It was taboo. I was doing something taboo with my partner. So I don't think, back to the larger issue of RICO, to me, the defense has not raised, the defense has raised reasonable doubt. The defense has, and how they went about their questioning and so on. We have yet to everything that Felicia has said, and we've said on these other episodes about this topic, we have yet to see what is the criminal enterprise that is benefiting from even the criminal acts that we all say, okay, yeah, that's a criminal act right there, but it's not supporting a criminal enterprise. And so, yeah, it's just, today was just another one of those days. But I think the biggest thing to me is once I realized who the person was, and she was talking about paying the rent, and I'm like, well, you have an underage kid, so I'm sure you're getting child support, and to some extent from the person who's the father of your child. So what's really going on here?
Greed. They all wanted to live that extraordinary lifestyle. They all wanted it. I believe that this person got punked by the baby daddy to do this. Remember, she accused the if it is who I think it is, she accused the baby daddy of R-ing her.
Yep.
When it first came out that he was being accused, that Diddy was being accused of these things, she said, because he came out and called her an S worker.
Yep.
He came out right after that and said, you R-ed me, so you need to shut your mouth and stop talking. And then next thing you know, he was going to sue her and take the kid or whatever. Then shortly after that, things were dropped or whatever. I think she was encouraged to do this. And I think after this, he's going to totally 100% get the child, because you up there saying you've been taking the substances, you're reckless as a mom, and you was doing these freak offs to keep her. So what else are you going to do to make sure that you keep a roof over your kid head and your head?
Right. I agree with you 100%. And he's also, because we know this person is king of petty, but she's giving him a lot to go on here. And I think also, Diva, he's going to proudly go in court and say, she didn't even have to do all that. This is what I'm giving her in child support.
That part. And the other piece, I'll let you go, Felicia, one second. The other piece of it is what people need to understand in their head. It is okay not to be in the penthouse on the 30-something floor if you got to lose all of your integrity and everything to be up there. And then you're talking, what boyfriend do you know? What friend do you know? If you no longer with them, they still gonna be paying your rent. This testimony, I was like, I can't even believe what I'm reading.
And Diva,
yes.
I'm sorry. And not only what boyfriend do you know, at least he was going to give her a 90-day grace period.
He sure was.
He told her, he said, I can't keep doing this for somebody I ain't seeing, but I'll cover it for the next 90 days.
He sure did. He sure did. So again, what gangster you know, a true gangster, for real, what gangster you know is doing that? Just like with Cassie, what gangster you know is extorting the money and then going to give it back to you? The mother transferred the $20,000 and then got it back. This thing is a circus. Go ahead, Felicia. What did you want to add?
I need to say this because I have a different perspective here. We keep, no matter who has come up outside of law enforcement, but the people who are part of this group. And as I have been reading and following, if you worked in the corporation of Bad Boy Entertainment, you are not necessarily subjected to what goes on in the house, where you are a personal assistant, you're a house manager, you're the chef, so forth and so on. I think, from what I'm learning, that this ketamine is more than dangerous. It does something to the mind immediately. And these people buy into this euphoria of love, and this person cares for me and we're caring for each other. And today's witness kept talking about the love that she was feeling. And they say that these are the effects of this drug and some of the other ones, that ecstasy and so forth and so on, because even little Rod felt that insane thought that I'm going to get this mansion, I'm going to get these things, I'm going to get this status, believing and buying into it. I don't believe if none of them were using these things, they would think like that. Even when Bonna is testifying that she's held over the balcony off the 17th floor, and I think it's like 2 days later, she's at an event with the person who just hung her off of the balcony. And she says, well, I'm not looking to have any problems. We good. There's something there in these substances that keeps people not believing what you would probably experience emotionally if you weren't under the influence. And I think the more you take it, the more committed you get, the more disoriented you are, the more disillusioned you are. And it leads to these kinds of irrational thinking, and rational people just can't understand it.
I hear where you're
Just
going with
can't
that.
understand it.
I will add this though. I think just like the groupies, there's groupies, and their aim in life is to get with a football player, basketball player, baseball player, because they want to have that baby and get a check. I think that some of these individuals are the same, and then their way out gets convoluted, because in addition to their want of that life, now they have introduced these substances that is frying their brain. So I can roll with that, but I have to put that, you put yourself in that position to begin with. So you got a baby daddy that got money, because out of her own mouth too, she said my baby daddy and him don't get along. So it's like, you got a baby daddy, if you're just going to allege right here right now, that got money. You wasn't going to be homeless, chick, but you wanted to live a certain type of lifestyle. And from the door, this man is introducing this stuff to you, and you stay.
Diva, based on what the money negotiated was, she asked for 15, he offered 10. Based on what we know from the previous people, that wasn't high end. As I understand it, Miss Ventura was getting between 30 and 50,000 a week. Okay, so 10 to 15 wasn't up on that level. So no, I think she really thought she was in love. I think
All did though. I'm not disagreeing.
yeah, I think this thing, this particularly this ketamine got them. They're done. They're never coming back from those experiences. They're never coming back. They're never going to be whole again. They're never going to be totally healed. They're always going to be confusion.
Well, listen. According to Young Miami and what she got, that was beyond lowball. That was like a me giving somebody $1.
Correct.
Young Miami was getting, according to her own words, $300K a month.
Right.
Anywho, let me just add.
Diva,
Yes,
on that ketamine, can I just read something on about the ketamine?
you can.
It said, this is what it produces. Disassociation. Users may feel detached from their bodies or surroundings. Hallucinations. Ketamine can be produced visual and auditory hallucinations, euphoria. Some users experience feeling of intense happiness or relaxation. Addiction. Ketamine can be addictive, particularly with frequent use. Cognitive impairment, bladder problems. So if they was using this stuff, they was jacked up. And they telling these stories, are they telling these stories from hallucinations, what they saw when they was hallucinating? Because that's what it says. It could be, they giving these testimonies and stuff like that. And they're talking about how they're on all these, substances. So can you trust any of them?
Well, no, I don't, because I think it was today that Bonner testified that she, Mr. Combs, and Miss Ventura did the ketamine for 8 hours straight in some hotel. That's what they was doing. 8 hours straight.
You better talk to the people, 48. It is many of these drugs do that same situation.
I don't know.
Yeah, so back when you do it in the moment and they wanted fame. I don't disagree with you. All of these drugs, they alter your mindset. And yeah, maybe some are more quicker to react than others. Listen, the guy from Friends was kept getting hitting up with that ketamine. Go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say whereas I don't disagree that the drug can have that kind of serious impact. And if let's think about Bono on the stand today, I mean, she's obviously still impacted because they asked her, could somebody be in LA and New York at the same time? And she said it's hard to say. I'm like, girl, are you okay? Are you okay? But yeah, I do think I think it's a combination of things, really.
I do too.
And even like that $10,000, what the $10,000 that this particular Jane was getting a day, plus whatever she was getting from the other one, I don't know. It might have equaled a purse for her. I don't know what it was, but that was the price she was willing to concede to continue the situation she was in. And because she said she was with Diddy until he got arrested.
Right, but before you go on though, Diva, just so the folks who didn't follow know, they did break up for about 5 months there. She didn't see him for a while. So when you talk about the ex trafficking and you're being kidnapped and you can't go anywhere, she bowed out of the relationship for about 5 months. So, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. And I really think the bed of all of this is the substances. I mean, she even went and testified, Jane testified that she was in the pool and Mr. Combs told her to open her mouth and she just swallowed a pill. I mean, I'm like, oh my God. It's just way too much for regular folks like me that we just don't do that kind of stuff. We just don't engage.
What's interesting with her in this, and I mean, I don't know the 100% truth because I wasn't there and living this life, and thank God, to God be the glory. But what's interesting to me is she's the first one. Bonner said, yeah, he was giving it to us, but am I really going to feed into her when you was bringing them to? Y'all was giving it to each other. Like, it's just stupid. She the first one. He said, open your mouth, but you opened your mouth.
Right.
I mean, what do you want from me?
She didn't say he forced her mouth open.
Right. He said, open your mouth, and you opened it. And he clearly told her, listen, if you want to go, you could go, but I ain't going to give you no money no more. That's not force. You made a decision. Do you want the money or don't you? I can't get with this, oh, I wasn't going to have no place to live. Then we all would have to sell our soul to the devil. Everybody needs a place to live. Like, this just don't make no sense to me. It's crazy. I'm sick of hearing about everything we already know. He liked his freak offs. He liked his substances. He engaged. Y'all engaged. And now you wanted me to take this as force. But yet, when you was well known to the whole situation, because you was with him when they raided that house, you was with him when all of those civil suits was coming out. You stay with him to the bigger end. Why are you here? Why are we hearing you speak? You have more than enough evidence to know whatever it is you needed to know. A lot of the other people, okay, it was all hidden. It was in the dark. You know, if they would have came out, they might have been the first one to come out. You was with this man while all this was going on and still doing freak offs with him. And you on the stand to tell us what? For what?
That she's in love with him. Okay, you don't believe me.
No, what do you mean I don't believe you? I already said to you that all of them was in love with him for whatever reason. So it's not that I don't believe you, but I'm just saying that the Southern District of New York, this is not a game. You brought this chick up here as a witness for what? For what? To tell us what? To have us connect what dots? When out of her own mouth, she was with this man until he got arrested. And she's here to tell us what? So you knew he was going to New York to be arrested. It's not like it was a shock to you. So you was hanging in there to the bitter end. Did he force you to come to New York with him? No. And y'all was up in that hotel still doing the cocoa, the ketamine, the Mary Jane, and whatever else. And that's why I feel like their case is so weak. This is who you got as a witness, a chick that was with him up until the day he got arrested.
You know what, Diva? It just crossed my mind. Maybe when they went to the room, she was in there.
It's a possibility.
And maybe they charged her. Maybe she's under a sealed indictment.
Oh, that's good, Felicia.
I know, girl. Ain't it good?
Yeah.
Is she the same one that said it was exhilarating?
I could get with that.
Yeah.
It's not making sense.
Right.
Is she the same one that said it was exhilarating?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That may be what it is. So
now that I could get with. Because anything else that don't make no sense to me.
That made my skin crawl a little bit right there. I think you said something right there, Felicia. I think you're on to something.
Yeah. Maybe she was in the room and they clinked her up. She was crying and she's under sealed indictment.
And you know what, Felicia? When they did that raid, they said it was evidence that a woman was there. That a woman was, they said
the high heel shoes.
They said no, she was not in there, but her clothes were in the room.
Yep, in New York. Yep.
So they found her. So they knew somebody was there because they said it was evidence. They claimed it was evidence in the room at a freak off. This. Well, you know what? That makes her even crazier too. Like I would have been like, at best, I would have been like, I'll go support you. So because I do believe that because his son was there too. I do believe they all thought he's gonna go there, he's gonna get arrested, he's gonna get bonded out, and we'll wait to the trial, right? At best, if I was that crazy, I'd be like, I'm gonna go support you, but I'm not doing no freak off. I mean, nobody had no common sense.
Yeah, she might have been up there in the room. Yep. And we saw that he had the money, he had the 2C, he had some pills, and they might have picked her up. Yep. She's under sealed indictment.
Child.
She got to go up and tell this story because they're desperate.
They're desperate. And again, it proves they didn't get nothing out of them raids. Let me share this really quickly. This is the transcript of them talking to Mark, Diddy's lawyer, about Diddy stop looking at the people. Let me make a record, Mark said. Let me say, Mark, yes, Judge. I was very clear this morning that there were not to be any facial expressions, other attempts to have any interaction with the jury whatsoever, any influence on the jury whatsoever. And I could not have been clearer in terms of what I said. You heard me, right? Mark said I did. The court, Well, there was a line of questioning where your client was nodding vigorously and looking at, let me see, where is it at? And looking at the jury. And there was a subsequent moment where we had a sidebar, and I looked and I saw your client looking at the jury and nodding vigorously during a line of questioning. That is absolutely unacceptable. Is it going to happen again, Mark? It's not going to happen again, Judge. Where am I at? If it happens again, if it happens even once, I will hear an application from the government to give a curative instruction to the jury, which you do not want. Or I will consider taking further measures which will result in the exclusion of your client from the courtroom. Do you understand that? He said, I understand, Judge. All right. So I want you to have a conversation with your client to make sure that he understands, and everyone should understand, that I really meant it, that there should be no efforts whatsoever to have any interaction with this jury. Mark said he understood, Judge. Okay. Listen, prosecutors raised the issue earlier in the day as Nicole Westmoreland was cross-examining Cassie's friend Brianna. So our concern is the defendant is testifying by nodding affirmatively in response to Miss Westmoreland's questions. Oh, child. So pretty much, wait, let me see. I don't have anything more to say on that. But I do want to put on the record, Your Honor, that we understand the defendant was nodding furiously in response to some of the questioning. And so we just wanted to make sure that that was clear on the record outside the presence of the jury. No, not in the presence of the jury in response to Ms. Westmore's questioning. I think that that's what Your Honor was asking us to take care of. That was my interpretation. Remind Mr. Cohn of the court instructions. Well, I'm concerned in both directions of improperly influencing the jury. So what would you propose to put in the record that's in the presence of the jury? So pretty much the prosecution complained, and the judge handled it and told it, Diddy better stop Diddy bopping. He better. This is a mess. Hey, Roy here. Nice. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Carbar. Thank you to all my mods out there. Listen, this thing is something else. I don't know if this Jane, I don't know. When they cross-examine Jane, God bless her. God bless her. I don't know why she's here. But I'm rolling with that, what you said, Felicia. They pinned her up when she came to New York and was in that hotel. Jane was in love. Well, Jane was in love. Cassie was in love. Let me be clear. Brianna was in love. What's her name? Capricorn Clark was in love. It was something about him that they all wanted to be number one. And they paid the price. Anybody else before I move forward? Everybody's good? Okay. Let me move forward real quickly. So Elon Musk drops really big bomb, accuses Trump of being in Epstein files as public brawl escalates. So Elon Musk went low in his rapidly escalating feud with President Trump Thursday, accusing him of withholding information from the public about the infamous sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein because it would implicate Trump himself. Time to drop the really big bomb, Musk posted on X after a multi-hour tirade against the president. At the real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not been made public, he claimed. Have a nice day, DJT. Okay. The Justice Department in February released more than 100 pages of Epstein's phone contracts and flight logs in phase one. Disclosure that disappointed the internet, hoping for bombshell revelations. The disgraced finances association with Trump has been known for years, as the two were videotaped and photographed together at parties in the 1990s, and the initial batch of DOJ release files revealed the president's name in flight logs, as well as some family members, including Trump's first wife, Ivana, and daughter Ivanka as Epstein contacts. Aides privately have acknowledged that the president's association with Epstein likely will resurface in a fuller release of files, though they did not believe they allege any wrongdoing by Trump is described. This is an unfortunate episode from Elon, who is unhappy with one big, beautiful bill because it does not include the policies he wanted. White House Press Secretary Caroline said, the president is focused on passing the historic piece of legislation and making our country great again. The contact list and fight laws appear to be pulled directly from Epstein's Little Black Book, one of which was made public in 2021 during his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, and another of which was auctioned off. The 1990s era contact list contains 340 names, 221 of which weren't included in a 2015 revealing of Epstein associates by the website Gawker. The Black Book being auctioned off reportedly contains 94 printed entries with black hand-applied check marks, and 5 have been highlighted in yellow, according to Alexander Historical Auctions. All 5 names, including that of Donald Trump, are well-recognized financial and industry figures. The online auctioneers web page notes. Online conspiracists have long speculated that high-powered clients of Epstein visited his private island, Little St. James in the Caribbean, where many young women and underage girls were allegedly abused. Trump, former President Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and Prince Andrew are just some of the famous passengers the financier flew on other trips aboard his private plane, later nicknamed the Lolita Express. Epstein was found dead with his bed sheets around his neck in the Metropolitan Correction Center in Manhattan on August 10, 2019, just over a month after his arrest on trafficking charges. Last September, Trump said he had no problem releasing more official files related to Epstein if elected, including the deceased pedophile so-called client list. I don't think I'm not involved, he noted. I never went to his island, fortunately, but a lot of people did. That's what Trump said. The president reportedly banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago in 2007 over an incident with a club member's teen daughter. Attorney General Pam Bondi has demanded the complete files be turned over to the DOJ after hinting at the FBI's New York file office being in possession of 1,000 pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Listen, these two are fighting. These two fell out. It is what it is. It's a hot mess. Felicia, what are your thoughts?
You know, Donnie J is who he is. He's a convicted felon. He's a liar. He can't be trusted. He does what he wants. And I don't care about Elon at all. I'm done.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, Elon had something that Trump wanted, and Trump had something that Elon wanted, and that was money. They both played each other, and now it's war. And I'm telling you, Elon got the money the same way he bought that election for Trump. He gonna buy all the information he want on Trump. See, everybody else scared, all the Republicans scared of Trump. Elon Musk not. And he gonna use his power to bring out a whole lot of stuff. They said Caroline Levitt almost lost her mind when they asked her about, what Elon put out there. And he's just getting started. And he's upset. See, it would have been fine, but in that that bill, the big bill, whatever, Trump took out the subsidies for those for EVs, electric vehicles. And that's Musk's game. And he didn't want that. He thought when he got with Trump, it was going to smooth sailing. But he underestimated Trump. Trump turned on him, he turned on Trump. And now it's war. Now he's threatening. They talked about what's his name? He said he think that Elon Musk might be an illegal alien, so deported. They talking about deportation now. Trump got what he want. Trump go after everybody else, call him names. Anybody goes against him. He said nothing about Elon Musk. So I'm just waiting to see how it's going to come together with both of them and see who's going to win. That's it.
Thank you, Sandy. Your thoughts?
Well, this is an entertaining mess. If Donald Trump is in, well, I'm sure he is in the Epstein documentation. I've long given up the hope that Donald Trump is going to pay for anything he's done. Even if he's in it, I don't think anything will happen to him. He's going to stay in office. There's not, nothing's going to happen, even if he's in there. But this is an interesting thing to watch because these two, they are, in my opinion, a mirror reflection of each other, and they represent the same. They have fooled millions of people that they represent them. So it's going to be interesting to see these millions of people take sides, which is also ignorant, because at the end of the day, what they're fighting for right now has nothing to do with lifting up those millions of people. It's still a power battle with them, money, power, and all of that type of thing. So this is interesting to watch. They can let them cannibalize each other. I'm totally fine with seeing that. But yeah, it's gonna get dirty. And I'm looking forward to just seeing it just from an entertainment perspective, because unfortunately, I don't think anything is going to happen to remove Donald Trump from office. They're not going to do that, no matter what. And so, yeah, it's going to be entertaining, and probably more so entertaining just to see how their followers, because there are millions of them. There are millions of them who have bought into these two billionaires. Well, one is a billionaire, the other one is faking it. But that these two affluent, rich, and powerful men are really here doing the things that we want them to do to make America great again. Okay. Well, you're about to get a very interesting chapter in that lie, and I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Queen Tulsa, you came in the building. Welcome. What did you want to say to us?
Listen here. First of all, Diva, thank you for having me. And hello, panelists, and hello, audience. I would say Trump got what he wanted, but he lost what he had. And I want to say the American people got what they wanted, but they lost what they had. When we talk about DEI, and I'm a Job Corps graduate, let's not even speak on that. Job Corps was a shelter for me, so I didn't have to be homeless. And now we have to look at, we already have a homeless crisis in America. We're not even going to talk about Skid Row, but this was a place where you could go and you get your education and you could really become something in life. Job Corps was very efficient. That is a great program. And I feel like if they're going to do anything, revamp the program and bring it back. There's plenty of young people out here that are fighting homelessness, not because they want to, because family, maybe they had got off on the wrong path and now they want to get back on the right path. But when you talk about Elon Musk, when he had come into the office with his disrespectful son, there hasn't been a child in that office since way back when. When you hear Trump out here trying to revamp the White House, he's tearing things apart and he really feels like he's the man above. This is a lot. The Diddy trial, the Jane Doe. I've got my white nails. I've got my blonde hair. And I am oiled up. Where's the party? Okay, listen here. Everybody was out there having a funky good time. And everybody knew what was going on. There were a lot of people that were very complicit when we talk about Ethiopia, when we talk about KK, when we talk about this whole enterprise. People are saying, well, how is it RICO? Well, it's RICO when you are using your business money to funnel and finance your extracurricular activities. Those are my thoughts.
I appreciate you. Thanks for coming
Have a
through.
wonderful night. More
You-
oil, more oil.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Listen, it's a lot, but experts are even saying what most of us are saying. We're waiting for the smoking pow, so to speak. We're waiting for it. It's like, where is it at? You bringing this girl, but now I think we did discover why she's on the stand. I get it. I think most of these witnesses, they hostile witnesses, but they know that if they don't cooperate, then they may be charged with a little something. So they up there doing the best they can, telling whatever story they need to tell, or else they're going to get locked up. But I don't understand why not at least one or two other people are not being charged with Diddy. And like we said, how are you going to make this connection? Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. It's late, but I pulled the train out late. Tomorrow will be day 18. We're going to see how this thing goes, okay? Diddy better watch himself, though, because the judge ain't playing. But the judge should have did something. Somebody should have spoke to the judge. This jury should have been sequestered. The witnesses need a safe way out, because when I saw Brianna going out and they was heckling her and saying all kind of stuff to her, regardless of what she does and does not remember, I don't feel that witnesses should be subjected to all of that. It's hard enough for them to get on the stand. So anyway, guys, y'all know what to do. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.